Well, hey Freedom Valley, welcome to Home Groups, where we apply the message we heard this weekend at Freedom Valley Church. This weekend, Candace actually spoke for the very first sermon of the year, and that's exciting. This year, we want to focus on stepping up in our personal lives.
Because no matter where you are in your spiritual walk and growth, we can always improve. Every single one of us can go deeper, can know God better, can relate to people better. There's always a way that every single one of us can step up in our faith.
Yeah, we want to step up in our faith. We always want to keep improving, and we want to do everything to the best of our ability. And in Home Groups specifically, we focus on 4 key areas.
Yeah.
We want to focus on our relationship with others, our relationship and influence with others. We want to focus on our relationship with God and being good stewards of what God has given us.
Yeah, they're all self-diagnostic questions. You can't really easily apply them to other people, like look at the people around you and ask. But you can say, am I growing in my relationship with God? Am I growing in my relationship with people? Am I loving them better? Am I interacting with them better? Am I figuring out this communication thing? You can say, am I managing my finances better? My house, my car, the resources that God has given me, am I doing better with that than I was in the past? And then finally, influence with outsiders. Am I bringing people to Jesus? Am I inviting people to church? Am I doing the best that I can with the influence that I have to bring people to Christ?
The change of calendar is a great time to assess how you're doing in these areas. Did you bring someone to church last year? Did you bring someone to Christ last year? Have you grown and improved in your management of your finances or your relationship with God? Are these things growing and improving? And have you set goals, and are you being intentional to do that? Our home group, we actually met in smaller groups inside our group and set goals for these 4 areas of our life and how we want to grow in the areas we feel the weakest. And that was really exciting, and we plan to hold ourselves accountable. Our group is actually, a bunch of us want to run a Spartan race together so that we can grow physically and we can grow together. But what that takes is self-discipline, self-leadership. Pastor Jerry says all leadership is influence, and that is so true. You can't lead someone without influencing them. But you also can't lead someone without leading yourself. No one will follow you to a place you won't go. So it's really important. Diagnose yourself. Are you stepping up in areas you need to? Are you leading yourself? Are you being disciplined? Or are you still acting like a child?
Sometimes you have to be a little bit harsh about this.
That's really true.
Like, actually look at yourself and don't make excuses for things.
So easy
but
to
look
do.
at how you're interacting with, especially the people closest to you. Your wife, your husband, your kids. How are you reacting to them in times of stress, for example? Like, the worst moments are usually a great self-diagnostic tool. And actually, Paul, in 1 Corinthians, he's talking to the Corinthian church, and he's a little bit harsh with them as well. He says, let's see, verse 1. I had to talk to you as though you belonged to this world, or as though you were infants in Christ. I had to feed you with milk, not solid food, because you weren't ready for anything stronger. And you still aren't ready, for you're still controlled by your sinful nature. You are jealous of one another and quarrel with each other. Doesn't that prove you're controlled by your sinful nature? Aren't you living like people of the world? And he gets pretty harsh with them.
He does, yeah.
I think he has to, in order to kind of shake them out of their normal.
That
like
whole
out of that
snap out of it
place.
moment is so key. And a lot of times we look for that from outside sources. I can remember times in my life where I was not doing very well, and I kept waiting for somebody to come by and say, what are you doing? And that's great, and we need to do that for each other. But at some point, you need to take responsibility yourself.
Yeah.
Look at yourself in the mirror and say,
Grow up.
Step up.
Yeah.
You can do this. So in your groups today, I think it'd be really good for all of us to talk about our goals, our plans, maybe assess last year and look forward to next year, and identify where we need to grow in these areas, and maybe where we've been failing in these areas.
And then set actual action steps to make that happen.
Yeah. So I think you'll have a great conversation. Be sure to set those action steps, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.